Hi guys, welcome to GSM Nation TV. Today we've got a very special review for you, the Samsung i9000 Galaxy S. The most noticeable thing about the Galaxy S, not to be confused with Galaxies, is going to be the touch screen. When you swipe the screen here, you can see this beautiful galaxy swirling around. This is going to qualify as an iPhone killer. The reason it's going to be an iPhone killer is because we've got a 4-inch AMOLED. It's actually a super AMOLED, brilliant full-touch Android screen. Pixels is 480 by 800, 16 million colors. Why is this display so special? Well, one thing is you can see the resolution on it just comes out very well. It's very clear, very bright. We've got a phone here with tempered glass, so if you were to shatter this phone, the glass wouldn't break up into little bits. Unfortunately, we're not going to try that for you today, but you get the idea. Also, this phone has got some great anti-smudging on it, and we're going to actually try that out here. I've sweated up my hands just so you can try it. You can see, well, you probably can't see, but you can see a little bit of no smudging. Very amazing display, very bright. Another reason why this phone is going to classify as iPhone killer is if you take a look at the side. This phone is actually 9.9 millimeters thick. It's one of the thinnest phones out there. For having a 4-inch touchscreen, being 9.9 meters thick and running, of course, Android 2.1 Eclair with the TouchWiz 3.0 from Samsung, this is actually going to qualify as one of the best touchscreen smartphones we've got out there. In addition to that, this little 9.9 millimeter phone packs a whopping 1 gigahertz processor. It's actually a Cortex A8 Hummingbird. It's got 528 megabits of RAM. Built into it, it's got 16 gigabytes of disk space, and it also supports micro SD up to 32 gigabytes. So as I said before, this is actually running Android 2.1, that's the Eclair version. But what Samsung has done is they've added their own version of custom build UI into it, and that's called the TouchWiz 3.0. It's actually quite sleek. Let's check it out. So I swipe open the phone, and you've got the real basic kind of Android layout here, but it's been modified. It's really responsive. You can see the phone here moves very responsively compared to my fingers, and you've got the mnemonics here, so you know what screen you're on. You've got these widgets that you can add very easily onto the phone, and when you get to the very end, you see the Galaxy kind of tilts itself. So really nice effect. Basic phone use is very easy. You just go left and right to find the menus. There's no real up and down, unlike some of the other phones that might be on the market. And you've got your main 4 menu buttons down here. You've got phone if you want to make any phone calls. You've got the contacts over here. You can see all the different contacts. We've got the messaging, and one very noticeable thing is you've got applications. The applications will bring up another menu full of different amazing applications that you can get by going into the Android marketplace, which is over here. And as I've said before, this is running Android, so you've got the Android marketplace where you can go in and download as many as 50,000 apps, which are now available on all the Android platforms, and particularly this Galaxy. So let's go into one of the most important features of the phone. Let's go into the cameras, or the camera. We have the camera set onto the second page. Now, the camera on the Galaxy is a 5.0 megapixel camera. We'll take a look at the camera on the back. You can see it's also got Google nicely on the back. Now, one thing that may be apparent is that it is actually missing flash, but it more than makes up for it with a couple of great features. And now we can see our GSM Nation plaque right on the camera itself. It's got amazing features on this. This is a 5.0 megapixel camera with autofocus. Not only does it have autofocus, it's got things like smile and blink detection. There's a lot of various shot modes, but let's take a look at some of the camera in action here. So you can see here, I can actually press different points of the camera, and it'll begin to zoom in on its own. You can press the shot, and now I've got a shot. Now that we've gone through the camera, let's actually take a look at some of the video recording, which is also very impressive. So I'm going to go into the camera here, and I'm going to turn it on its side so you can see it. One thing you'll notice is the menu that popped up, that just receded. If you actually press this button here, you're going to open the other menus. And these menus will allow you to go into the settings, edit the picture, view the picture right away from the camera menus. If you click on this top button in the corner, you will then get the camcorder. Now I've got the camcorder, let's actually test it out. I'm going to click record. Alright, yeah, the beep tells us we're recording. It tells us how much disk space that's going to be using. Now the camera is actually recording in 128 by 720 pixels at 30 frames per second. What does that mean? That basically means that this camera is recording in HD. So let's pause it here. We'll stop it. Now let's go for the playback right at the bottom. Very easy to find. That's where we are, but we'll click play. That's me talking again. So let's take a look at some of these other features on the phone. The most important thing probably everyone is asking about is, okay, we've got a great camera, we've got some video playback, the screen looks great, can I actually use the phone? Now how do we figure out if we can use the phone? Well, what do most people do? Most people go straight into messaging, so let's go into messaging here. We've got a message from, that's not a message, but you see the keyboard pops right up very fast, it just took a millisecond to pop up there. Let's try the keyboard out. You can see the moment I tap on it, it pops right up. There's no delay at all. And if I rotate the phone, it'll go into the landscape mode very quickly. Very quick change from portrait to landscape modes. Well, let's get back out. Now we know we can do the messaging. What if I want to use the browser? Well, take a look at the browser. Go on to the second screen here. Let's click on Internet. Now, we've already set up the Wi-Fi here, so it's going to be fast on loading. If you don't get as fast of a connection on 3G, it's perfectly normal. And you see we've got our favorite websites here. We've got Google, we've got GSM Nation, the #1 resource for mobile phones. We got Google and YouTube. Let's say we wanted to type in a URL. How hard would that be? Well, we can do it in portrait mode. We can do it in landscape mode. And let's type in www.gsmnation.com. Let's go. All right, and you see the website loaded up within a second. Okay, now let's take a look at the browsing experience. So we got the whole website there. You can scroll up and down, very responsive. You see it doesn't take any kind of delay to load the images. And if I want to zoom in, how do we zoom in on this guy? Well, you got the multi-touch. So you can do the pinch in, pinch out. So let's locate something that we want. I want to take a look at Android phones. Over in this corner, I pinch in, I found what I want, click onto the Android phones. Let's see what GSM Nation is offering. Hopefully So, final thoughts on the Samsung i9000 Galaxy S? Well, simply put, this is one of the best smartphones we've ever seen on the market. This has got a stamp of approval as a possible iPhone killer. Alright, and you have a valid question. Do you mean iPhone 4 or do you mean iPhone 3GS? We're talking about iPhone 4. Why? Because first of all, this is sporting a 4-inch screen, which is bigger than the iPhone 4. It's got the Super AMOLED screen, which we haven't been able to compare it yet, but we've got a great feeling that the Super AMOLED screen, especially when it's in the full sunlight, is going to be superior to the iPhone. Given that this phone is only a very thin 9.9 millimeters thick, and given that at 9.9 millimeters, it's packing that 5.0 megapixel camera, it's got the 1 gigahertz processor with 528 megabytes of RAM, that it's got the built-in 16 gigabytes of storage, this is definitely one hot phone to carry. That's it for the Samsung i9000 Galaxy S. For more information on this phone, please go to www.gsmnation.com, where you can get this phone and a lot of other great selections. Thanks for watching GSM Nation TV. Goodbye.